Hello everyone, this is Sadia Malik. Welcome to my channel. Today we are going to do Unit 20 of the first year English textbook. This is the book prescribed for the annual papers for the year 2020 and 2021. The name of the unit is How to Take a Job Interview. So we are going to discuss the main idea, summary and comprehension questions of this chapter. So let's talk about the main idea first. The title is quite self-explanatory, but the main idea we can discuss it in a little bit of detail. The essay focuses on a very important area of our practical lives that await us after finishing our degrees. So you are in first year, you are still studying, but there is going to be a time in future when you are going to appear for a job interview. Some people are going to appear it early, some are going to have further academic qualification, but somewhere along in our lives, we all have to appear for a job interview. So this chapter really helps you in preparing for that moment. People believe that academics is the only thing that matter when taking a job interview, but they are gravely mistaken. So we usually think that marks on our degree are the only thing that people are going to see, or the GPA that you are going to get is the only criteria to measure your competence. But that is a huge mistake, because a job interview involves every aspect of your personality. Your appearance, eye contact, body language, tone of voice, choice of words, temperament, ability to answer open-ended questions, and overall knowledge about the job and its related field. So the main idea of this chapter is to prepare you, give you information about how job interviews are supposed to be taken. So it is not just about your degree, because a degree can be seen on paper by anybody, but a job interview is more like a face-to-face interaction between the employer and the candidate, and they determine each other. The candidate also likes to see what kind of job is being offered and what is required of him, and the employer also determine whether the person in front is suited for the job or not. Another important thing is the types of job interviews, because the essay is quite detailed and it is expository in nature. Expository essays are the ones which explain a certain process in front of you. So this whole essay is basically explaining the process of taking a job interview. And first thing that they have done is given the types of job interviews, because every job interview requires a different separate set of skills. So this is a little overview of the job interview types that they have talked about. Job interviews are of different types and each requires a separate set of skills to ace. So if you want to succeed in a certain interview, you first need to understand what type of interview you are actually taking. First, there are behavioral interviews to assess the personality traits, attitude, and behavior of candidates. So as the name suggests, the focus is here on your behavior, how you behave, what kind of personality traits or qualities you show. Behavioral questions are asked to bring about information from you, how you would likely to handle any real world challenge based on your previous behavior facing a similar circumstance. So some question is given and you are asked to give an answer, and basically the question is about your previous experience, and the question is what actually you did in a certain situation. For example, a typical question be, give me an example of something you tried in your job that didn't work. How did you learn from it? So these type of questions are based from your previous experiences and how you behaved in a certain situation. So this also shows a lot about your personality, whether you are a person who panics easily, whether you are a person who solves a problem, you are analytical, whether you are a team player or not, whether you like to work alone, etc., whether you are flexible in your attitude, etc., or not, based on your previous experiences. Second comes case or situational interviews. Again, the name suggests that some kind of situation would be given, like a hypothetical, imaginary situation, and then you'll be asked to think of a solution out of that problem. So it assesses the problem solving and analytical ability of the candidate, whether he can analyze the situation properly, whether he can come up with a solution or not. Scenarios are created. Scenarios are imaginary situations are created, and questions are related to hypothetical situations. These are not actual situations, but these are just imaginary made up situations in which you are asked a question that how you are going to solve the problem. Situational interview questions can be difficult to answer as you are required to think on the spot. So you have to be very quick on your feet. You have to think of a solution very quickly, which in itself is a skill the interviewer is testing you on. For example, the question can be asked, you know that a colleague has made a mistake at work, but as far as you are aware, only you have spotted it. What are you going to do? So you are given a situation, an imaginary situation, that think that the colleague has made a mistake and only you have seen it. Nobody else knows. So what are you going to do? So these kind of question actually tells about your temperament, also about your personality, the knowledge, etc. So the employer actually judging you for that. Thirdly, there is the competency or job specific interview. Again, the meaning is there in the name, job specific competency. So this is a job interview where the questions are directly related to the specific job. If you are applying for the job of a programmer, software programmer, questions are going to be mostly about programming, the types, etc., and how you're going to program and the skills that you require, or its related field. So if you are applying for the job of an English teacher, English literature, history, its different areas, different genres, different writers, etc., criticism, all that is going to be the related fields of that area. So that is going to be asked. Typical question could be, tell me about a time when you supported a colleague who was struggling. So this is again, something relating to your past experience, and it heavily depends on your competency in the job specifically. Lastly, mock interviews is a practice interview that the candidate might take with a career counselor, family member, or a colleague after before appearing in the final interview. So mock means not real, fake. So this is more like a practice interview that you take before you actually go for the final interview. So it is more like a preparation that you do before you actually go there. So it is not the first time that you are taking an interview with the real employer. What you do is you recreate the situation and you practice it with your colleagues or with your friend or a counselor. Now the essay is about good tips given to you for a job interview. So I have pointed them in bullets. The first one is dress decently and smartly. Wear comfortable clothes, giving a professional look. It also impacts your confidence. Avoid overdressing. So your dress should be your first impression. So when you enter a room, the first thing that people see is your dress. So you should be dressed decently and smartly, professionally. So it should not be too gaudy or too flashy or too informal. So you can't go there with your trousers or with shorts, etc. Avoid overdressing and do not go overly dressed for the job interview. Interviewers usually ask candidates to introduce themselves. So plan your opening, prepare a nice, precise self-introduction covering your academic qualifications, skills, previous experiences, if any. So usually what the people do is, the employers, they ask you, tell us something about yourself. So that is your chance to create the first impression. So it is better that you prepare a nice self-introduction in which you are not overly praising yourself, but be honest and open about it. And if you prepare it earlier, it would be well prepared, and that is going to give a good impact. Key to success is self-confidence, and a key to self-confidence is preparation. Never go in an interview without preparation and just thinking that, okay, let's see what happens and I'm going to just answer on the spot, because that shows lack of preparation, lack of seriousness. Learn about the background of the company you're applying in, their previous projects, skills, etc. required. So read about your organization, read about the projects that they have done, read about what they require from their employees. So that shows that you are prepared for a job. Be present in the moment. Listen closely, not just to answer, but understand first what is being asked and react accordingly. A lot of people listen just to react. So they are not listening properly. So that can create some kind of misunderstanding, that you are asked a different thing and you are answering different because you were not attentive. So be present in the moment. It means that be attentive. Prepare answers to job-specific questions that may include the technical aspect of the job, skills, knowledge required. So if you're applying for an engineering job or a medical job or some other job which is very technical, so you should be prepared about the technical aspect, because if you are going to be asked about the technical aspect. If you make a mistake over there, that is going to be a big mistake, because that is going to be your real job. Sound natural, don't memorize answer, be honest. So don't memorize, because it gives a very mechanical sort of impression that you are like a robot talking in a memorized tone. And be honest, never try to hide things, because this can backfire also. Use positive body language. Focus on non-verbal communication. Firm handshake, smile, eye contact, straight posture, control hand gestures are sign of a positive body language. Now, this last one is very important, because it might feel not so significant, but this is the first thing that people actually notice in you. How you are sitting in the chair, whether you're comfortable or nervous, if you're fidgeting your hands, if you move your hands too much, if you are not making any eye contact, you're continuously looking down and you're not looking at the employer. So that is the sign of nervousness or lack of confidence and lack of preparation. So you need to show a very positive body language. You need to smile, make eye contact, control your tone. Don't be too pitchy, don't be too loud, don't be too low in your volume also, because people won't be able to understand. Gestures are very important. The gestures that you make with your hand or with your shoulders, they should be controlled, because if you are going to shrug your shoulder, that does not give a very good impression. So I actually have a slide here which you can see, and that is because this is a important aspect, so I wanted it to explain a little further. So what does actually body language mean? It means that make yourself comfortable. You should be sitting in a very comfortable posture. You should not be like sitting at the edge of your seat, or you should not be lounging in the seat. So you should be sitting with a straight posture. Have a firm handshake if somebody wants to shake hands with you. Have a firm one and then leave it. Not just, don't just give him the fingers, or don't just grab the hand very tightly. Maintain a straight posture. The shoulders are the giveaway. You have to have straight shoulders. Slouching shoulders give an impression of laziness and lack of confidence. Eye contact is very important. You need to look in the eye of the employer, because if you're going to avoid eye contact, they are very clever and they can see that you are nervous, and they might say that you lack confidence. Smile whenever possible. It doesn't mean that smile all the time, but smile whenever it is required. Shows that you are comfortable. Avoid fidgeting. A lot of people use their hands, they grab their fingers and they start playing with their hands, and they are wringing their fingers again and again. This again shows nervousness. Correct hand movement. You need to use your hand because you need to look natural, but don't start like giving speeches in a big political gathering. So don't overuse your hand. So that is very important. Show interest. You need to listen, because if you are showing interest, the other person can tell whether you are listening with interest or you're not. You're somewhere else. So show interest. Be polite. That is very important. That politeness can take you places. It's not necessary that you have very good academic qualifications, so you are going to be selected, but politeness has to be there as well. Leave on a positive note. That you try to end the interview on a positive note, that I expect to hear from you soon, and I hope that you give me a chance to prove myself, etc. So this is where you need to be really positive about leaving an impression on the employers. So this was more like an overview. Read the chapter again. There are words at the end of the chapter with the meanings given. Read them and then read the chapter again. I would also suggest that you underline all the important sentences in the unit, so they are going to become the main points of the lesson. So I've already given you them. I've given it to them in a previous slide, but it is more important for you to read the chapter yourself. That is the only way you are going to understand it fully. So like the video, comment also if you don't understand something, share it with your friends and subscribe the channel. And last but not least, thank you for watching.